stood in front of you and wanted to trade?
Well, like I said, in a fight you never know what's going to happen, and I didn't want to get pinned down on the idea that he was going to bull rush me. Because if he wouldn't, then you're gonna get confused. So I was just gonna take the fight as it came. That's what happened.
Now you mentioned you haven't decided yet what camp you're going to go to for junior, but what kind of criteria would you use to determine where you will go?
Well, I've not decided. Maybe I'm gonna have a camp in Holland, maybe in Thailand, maybe at Extreme Couture. Obviously, Extreme Couture has the wrestling background. That's why I wanted to train there, and because Extreme Couture is in Vegas. But Dos Santos is a boxer, so obviously we're gonna work with boxers, more of a striker school.
And would you go and train with just straight up boxers? I mean, do you know the Klitschko's by any chance? You know.
I don't know the Klitschko's. And they're also not like Dos Santos. I would probably choose somebody like Dos Santos. Same weight, same style a little bit.
And if you could talk a little bit more about how you said you were kind of overwhelmed, not overwhelmed, but really impressed with the whole situation tonight, how you were taken aback by the fans and the situation. And obviously when you fought in Japan, the crowds have been even bigger, but I'm just curious if you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, in Japan it was big. I fought for 80,000 people audience there, and it was crazy. But I don't know. There's something just to American audience. Maybe they make more noise. There's more media. Basically, Las Vegas was full of the fight, so you're seeing yourself everywhere. And in Japan it was also big, but it just seems that it's more bigger and more alive, more of a hype.
And is that more fun?
Definitely yes. Definitely yes. The bigger, the better.
Hey, Alistair, have you had to relinquish all the other belts that you hold?
No, still have them in my living room.
And if you become the heavyweight champion, do you always feel like that's like the culmination of your career, that you're now the undisputed heavyweight champion, that there's pretty much no one out there that can beat you at that point?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about what you said in the press conference, that you wanted to let everybody know that you're here, that you're coming for it? We've talked about this in the pre-fight, but did you really feel that people were underestimating you and that you needed to definitely come out here and prove a point?
You always have to prove a point, and for some people they don't have to do it that much. But I'm the type. My road to success has been long, and but the thing is, if you keep achieving good things, if you keep knocking people out, you're going to get there. And that's a little bit my story. I mean, I have a lot of fights, and it all came slowly. It never came like Brock. He went for his second fight immediately for the UFC title. Well, I'm now with my second UFC. But I had a sort of history before, cleaning up the rest of the division. So.
And what do you think about the fact that Dana said he thought Brock was going to beat you?
Everybody can think what they want to think, right? And yeah. I think a lot of people are underestimating me and the wrestling and stuff, but yeah, like I said, I mean in the game for 16 years now, training. Today was my 69th fight, so, and like some fights may not seem big names, but for me every fight I took very serious, and at the time maybe the opponent was maybe stacked at the same or maybe a little bit higher. So for me it always was, it were important wins.
Coming from Strikeforce, Zuffa's getting rid of the heavyweight division in Strikeforce. Do you think it's the right move for them, or?
I can't decide for that. I'm going to leave them, the big boys upstairs, deciding.
And would you want your title fight promoted as like a title unification fight? Do you think that would be a good idea? Or?
Also, that I don't know. I'm here for the UFC title. That's the main prize, the biggest prize in the world right now. That's what I want.
And I guess the winner of the GP, how do you think that fighter, whether it's Cormier or Barnett, would do in UFC?
I think they'll both do good. I mean, Barnett has a lot of experience, and Cormier has proven himself. I mean, I believe he's 7-0. He's somebody you don't want to underestimate. Good hands, good wrestling. So I think they'll both do good.
What are you going to do to celebrate?
Party. 2 days. Today and tomorrow. No, we're gonna party, and I'm gonna have a nice holiday. There's a lot of work to be done. in my team in the organization, because obviously when I'm training, a lot of stuff is left untouched. You know, which direction, and now I'm hearing about some legal action, so we're gonna have to pick on that. A lot of meetings, a lot of sponsor stuff, but I'm motivated. I got a lot of energy. Can't wait to get started.
Can you talk a little bit more about the cut? Now, unfortunately, it's right on your hairline, so you don't get another badass scar. But I do want to talk about how much that bothered you. You said you did put the pressure on because you thought the doctor could be coming in to stop it. So if you could just talk a little bit about the cut when it happened and how you felt about it.
Well, like I said, I felt it dripping in my eye. Then you know you're cut. Then shortly after, I couldn't see with my right eye. So then you're not seeing depth, which is a little bit annoying. And then I knew, okay, I'm cut. I need to put, and it's a big wound because otherwise your eye, if it's just 2 drops, it's nothing. Then I knew I got to put a little bit more pressure because if I have medical intervention, I don't want to lose like that. Come on, Brock outstrike me, you know? No, you don't want to lose like that.
Did it kind of fire you up when you landed that first jab? Because it started off kind of a little bit slow and things started to heat up, and eventually you closed the distance and ended the fight. Was that, you know, when he popped you in the face, is that kind of like a wake up?
Nah, well, the thing is, I was amazed by his reach, you know, because he has long arms, maybe even a little bit longer than mine. So I was amazed by that. But yeah, sometimes you have to feel a little bit what somebody's doing, his movements, and just did that. And then I felt like, okay, now it's time because we don't want to get the medical intervention, and we just have to get rid of this guy.
Were you surprised by his strength when he grabbed a hold of you, or was it what you expected?
It was a little bit what I expected.
You know, you talked about how your snack time, apparently.
First meet in the bar.
No, it is.
Heyday! Well, that's funny. So, no, Alistair, you mentioned that thanks to your brother, you know, you got your start in fighting. He helped you get to be well-rounded. What was it like when your career surpassed his?
Nothing special. I know. Well, it's interesting to note that in the beginning he was my big example of how to do things, and later when my career surpassed him, that was because he had factors that was keeping him from putting the focus on training, and in the beginning was an example of how to do it, and later he became an example of how not to do it. So I observed closely what went wrong in his career. I didn't make the same mistakes. I made entirely new ones. That was my dip, but I learned from it and I came back stronger.
Has your brother
Bigger.
had any words with you after this win? Have you talked to him? Has he shown, you know, how proud he is of you? Or?
Yeah, he was in my corner. So, yeah.
Would you be willing to go to Brazil to fight JDS Santos in Sao Paulo?
I like America. I'd rather fight here. Thanks with no thanks. Brazil is nice, but I like America. I like it a lot, and you know, I like Vegas. I'd rather fight here.
Now, the conventional wisdom on Brock is that he does not react well when he's getting hit. Is that something you counted on going into the fight? Or?
What was that?
The conventional wisdom on Brock is that he doesn't react well when he gets hit. Was that something you were sort of counting on going into the fight? And do you think that played out in this fight?
Yeah, it played out. Later, when I felt I got him under control, putting a lot of pressure, I knew, yeah, it's working in my favor, and I calculated that in. Yeah.
God forbid anything happens to Junior Dos Santos, who else do you think would offer you a challenge, a decent challenge?
You know, I'm a fighter. I love to fight, and I'm here to prove that I'm the number one. Dos Santos is the guy on my list, and other than that, you know, whoever they put in front of me.
You fought a lot over in Japan. How, you know, at that time, the heavyweight division and the light heavyweight division was probably the biggest in the world over there. How do you think that division back then compares to the heavyweight division right now?
That's a good question. Well, I was not focused on the heavyweight division then, but I would say that it's comparable. Definitely comparable. I mean, then there was a tough heavyweight division, and now there's also a tough heavyweight division. If you combine Strikeforce and UFC together, you get some badasses.
So if Josh Barnett wins, you know, the Grand Prix at Strikeforce, how do you think that would be as a matchup with you?
I think it will be a good matchup. seasoned veteran, a lot of fights, been to Japan as well. We've also had his obstacles. I think it will be a good fight.
Obviously, you were warming up and doing your thing in the locker room before your fight, but did you have any time to look at Nate and Cerrone fight, and what did you think of it?
It's good fight. Yeah, it was good. Give and take. I thought, I think it was a good fight.
Now that Brock is out of the way, looking at some of the other heavyweights being lighter and quicker, how do you adjust your focus going forward?
I think I'm very fast for heavyweight, and I don't intend to lose or to gain or drop weight. I do prefer fighting bigger guys, but I don't think Dos Santos is that small either. He's like 110, 113 kilos. He's like the same. A little bit smaller, but not that small.
And did you fight tonight at the same weight, basically, that you weighed in?
Yeah, a little bit light. I was not wearing my jeans.
Now that you're with the UFC Overeem, do you kind of plan on finishing out your career here, or do you have plans of kind of doing your thing here and then maybe going back to K1, maybe going back to other organizations?
No, UFC is the place to be. I'm very happy that I'm with the UFC. They've treated me very good. And on top of that, I think it's the best organization there is. You know, my experience with them is everything is taken care of, A to Z. And I'm not going back.
Do you think there's other guys in K1 who could do well in MMA?
That's a good one.
Anyone come to mind? Saki? Long?
The thing is, everybody can do good in MMA, but they need the good preparation. And it's not going to be 1 year. You need at least 2 years training MMA, good sparring partners, the whole thing, and then who knows. But in the meantime, you have to have an income. So you have to do fights. Well, you're not going to do MMA fights because you're going to lose. And so you're going to do your kickboxing matches, and that prevents you from training MMA. So if someone is dedicated, they can get, because they can already strike. They already have the timing. They're already athletic. You know, they have their training. So they know their bodies. So if somebody is dedicated, anybody could make it in the UFC. But they need 2 years of dedicated hard training and a good team.
Do you plan on relocating to the States or just pop in and out when you got fights?
No, I'll come live here. I'll come live here.
Any place in particular? South Florida's open.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to go there next week to LA as well. I need to still figure it out. Maybe it's going to be 2 places. I have a place in LA and a place in Miami. So, not sure yet.
Alistair, you used to talk about wanting to fight Fedor. Is he still relevant in your mind? Is that a fight you'd still be interested in?
I've been challenging him for a year and a half, and I really wanted to make that fight happen because I saw myself as the one beating him. On 2 occasions, he declined to fight me. Yeah, what are you going to do? And now it's come to a point he's lost 3 in a row. He's now 1-1. I have a lot of respect for Fedor. He's an icon. I mean, but it's not relevant for him to fight him anymore.
Do you feel like he should hang him up?
What was that?
Do you feel like he should retire?
Why? No. I think he could still have maybe a couple years left in him, because if you look at Dan Henderson, he's still a lot older. But one thing at a time. Let him first have a couple of wins, and then maybe he can come back, or maybe go to light heavy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congrats. That was great. Hey, come back to LA for sure. Good kid. No, there's seriously. I mean, there's killer camps there. For sure.
You just won.
In LA. Yeah, of course I do, Sergio. I'm no fool. Yeah, I mean, there's so many gyms.
Yeah, was it rain? Was nice.
Yeah, rain's good.
Kings MMA. I need to go back there though.
Yeah.
1984?
Yeah, I know. But you know, it's,
I know you stopped by to see Anton, honestly, right? Because you guys were all buddies. And he moved actually to a bigger gym now.
Yeah, I saw I was there.
Oh yeah, right. Well, cool.
But I like LA. It's warm,
Yeah, no, it's nice.
and there's a lot to do. But I think it's gonna be 2 places: Miami, LA, maybe another in Vegas.
Right.
Do some hopping.
Nice. Congrats.
Okay, thanks.